The Curse of the Night Wolf. The town of Raven Creek was a quiet town nestled deep within the forested mountains. The people lived simple lives, farming, hunting, and trading. It had always been peaceful, until the killings began. It started on the first full moon of autumn. Jacob Marley, a well-known farmer, had not returned home that night. His wife, Margaret, searched for him at dawn, hoping to find him sleeping in the barn. Instead, she found his torn-apart remains in the middle of the cornfield. His flesh was shredded, his ribcage cracked open as if something had feasted on him. His bones were gnawed clean, his face frozen in eternal terror. The town sheriff, Logan Mercer, inspected the corpse. It was a bear, he told the people, his voice uncertain. Must have come down from the mountains. But the claw marks were too large. The bites were too precise. And then they found the tracks. Wolf tracks. Massive. Unnatural. The elders of the town exchanged uneasy glances. They had seen this before, many years ago, and they knew what it meant. The night wolf has returned, one of them whispered. A cold wind swept through the town, carrying with it an eerie howl from deep within the forest. Ethan Hayes was a hunter. He was the best shot in town and the first to dismiss the legend. There isn't no such thing as the night wolf, he told his drinking buddies at the tavern that evening. Just a damn bear, maybe a big coyote. But as he walked home that night, through the thick forest leading to his cabin, something felt off. The trees whispered with an unnatural wind. The forest, usually alive with the sounds of crickets and owls, had fallen into complete silence. Then he saw them. Two glowing yellow eyes. They burned in the darkness, watching him from the trees. A low, guttural growl rumbled through the air, vibrating in his chest. A shadow moved. Huge. Towering. Ethan tightened his grip on his rifle. His pulse pounded. "Who's there?" he called out. The growling deepened. And then it charged. Ethan fired. Boom. 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 3 perfect shots struck the beast's chest. It didn't stop. Then came the claws. Ethan felt them rip into his gut, tearing him open like paper. A wave of white-hot agony surged through him as his intestines spilled onto the forest floor. He gasped, his vision swimming in darkness, as the beast's glowing eyes were the last thing he saw. Then, silenced by morning, Ethan's half-eaten corpse was found outside his cabin. His face was frozen in a look of absolute terror. His stomach had been ripped open, his ribs shattered, and his flesh torn as if something had feasted on him for hours. Panic spread through Raven Creek. Sheriff Logan declared a curfew. Nobody was allowed outside after dark. Doors were locked. Candles burned through the night. But the howling never stopped. A deep, unnatural howl. It echoed through the town just past midnight. Long drawn out. Hungry. Then the killings escalated. That night, the Baker family never stood a chance. The father, Henry, was found with his throat torn out, his blood painting the walls. The mother, Sarah, had been crushed, her skull shattered. Their 2 young children, Tommy and Lillian, were found split open, their tiny organs missing. The town was drowning in blood. And in the distance, the night wolf howled again. Sheriff Logan gathered every able-bodied man in town. Rifles, axes, torches. "We kill it," he growled, "or we die trying." The hunters followed the tracks deep into the woods. The deeper they went, the stronger the stench of rotting flesh became. Then they found it. A cave. Hidden in the darkness. Inside, the remains of half-eaten corpses. The missing townspeople. Their faces frozen in agony. Their bodies stripped of flesh, their bones stacked like trophies. And at the center of the cave it stood. 9 feet tall. Jet black fur soaked in blood. Glowing yellow eyes filled with hunger. Claws longer than knives. The night wolf grinned. Then it moved. Fast. Unnatural. The hunters screamed. Gunfire erupted. Bullets tore through the beast, but it didn't slow down. It ripped through them like paper. Limbs flew. Flesh shredded. Bones snapped like twigs. One hunter was torn in half, his screams silenced as his insides splattered onto the cave walls. Another had his head crushed like a ripe fruit. Sheriff Logan was the last one standing. The beast loomed over him, blood dripping from its fangs. Logan trembled, gripping his last silver bullet. The wolf grinned. Then it spoke. A voice deep and ancient. "You are prey." The sheriff screamed as the night wolf lunged. Then, darkness. By dawn, Raven Creek was silent. Not a single soul left. Only bloodstains, shattered doors, and gnawed bones. The town was dead. The night wolf had fed well. And in the distance, as the sun set behind the trees, a low, hungry howl echoed through the hills. Waiting for the next blood moon. Do you hear the howling?